And I said, your hand's always broken. You ain't known for your punching power since you moved up from lightweight to welterweight. Why are you so sure you're going to do this?
It's wild, because, like, if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight.
For that, Floyd is the best fighter, in his era. And I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
In response to Floyd Mayweather calling out Terence Crawford, Stephen A. Smith said that boxing today sometimes downplays certain fighters while overhyping others. He believes Crawford deserves more recognition for his skills and achievements. Stephen added that Mayweather is older now and not at the level he once was. He stressed that the focus should be on Crawford dominance, rather than unfair comparisons or talk that takes away from just how great he really is.
About what he had to say about you when he said you're way better than Floyd Money Mayweather. I know you heard that he said that. What thoughts came to your mind when you heard that Canelo Alvarez said that about you?
Hey, that's a big compliment. He's been in the ring with both of us, so he would know, from his own experience. A lot of people, they can say this, they can say that, but there's only, a few people that can say they've been in the ring with Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather and give their own.
Shane Mosley said that both Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather are excellent boxers, but Crawford has a natural size advantage. He explained that Crawford's strength and size give him an edge that Mayweather never had at middleweight. Mosley also praised Mayweather for being technically sharp and precise. Floyd could beat bigger opponents because of his defense and high ring IQ, while Crawford doesn't face the same concern. Mosley added that Mayweather's legacy is based on skill and adaptability, not on having greater size or strength like Crawford.
Who you think's better out of those two, Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. He's actually he moved in weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather's really good too, though. You can knock him as well. He's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because he's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely a technician. I mean, like Crawford said, Mayweather has his era, and Crawford, this is.
In an interview with Ariel Helwani, Terence Crawford reminded fans that Canelo Alvarez has a unique perspective. Having faced both Mayweather and Crawford, Canelo knows what he's talking about. Crawford noted that their fights happened under very different circumstances. Mayweather faced Canelo when he was young and inexperienced, while Crawford fought him as a seasoned 168-pound champion. Even being much bigger than his opponent, Crawford won, showing his strength and skill. Crawford said Canelo's comment about feeling more powerful against him only highlights that greatness depends on timing and context.
Cooking right there, because there was this prevailing thought that the smaller man always loses to the bigger man. This was repeated time and again throughout the fight week. And he proved that that's not the case. Again, I hope you all recognize this was a 168-pounder fighting a 147-pounder. He had one fight at 154 last August, was the undisputed king at 147, beating Errol Spence in July of 2023, came back the following year, fought Israel Madrimov at the soccer stadium in Los Angeles, and then did everything he could to get this fight, played his cards the right way, and there he was, standing face to face against Canelo Alvarez, who did seem for the longest time like he didn't want to take this fight, and because there was great risk involved, because not only is Terence Crawford one of the all-time best fighters in the history of the sport, he's smaller than him, so a lot of people would be like, oh, of course you're going to beat the smaller guy, right? But I think Canelo recognized, yeah, he might be smaller, but he's that damn good.
When Floyd Mayweather fought Canelo, his trainer Greg Hackett used a different approach. He emphasized that Mayweather was a complete boxer. Hackett said Floyd's style at that time was refined, disciplined, and consistent, unlike Crawford's approach, which is more aggressive and unpredictable. Hackett explained that Crawford relies on explosive defense and adjusting his plan during fights. Floyd, on the other hand, was exceptional because he executed everything almost perfectly. While Hackett respects Crawford accomplishments, he believes Mayweather's performance against Canelo remains one of the best ever.
Floyd Mayweather, that Canelo Alvarez fought.
Yeah.
In the last version of Terence Crawford that we've seen in the ring.
Yeah.
Who's the better fighter, Jay?
Of course you got to give it to Floyd. Floyd at that time, Ben, what's up? Floyd at that time versus Canelo was in total confidence. His skill set, his IQ, you know what I'm saying? Everything he do, he was just a complete fighter that night. But I feel like was up against a lot because he was fighting a guy that we knew something about, but we ain't know too much about. People don't understand how much a fighter could be thrown off by what he don't know. And the reason it throws you off is because you're actually learning about the fighter while you're in there. That's what Bud went up against that night. That's why he didn't look so great. To me, I could be wrong, but he didn't look so great to me because he was learning a lot about Madrimov while he was in there with Madrimov.
Max Kellerman examined how the two fighters have taken very different paths. He said that after leaving lightweight, Floyd became very selective with his opponents, making sure every fight was carefully planned. Crawford, in contrast, often takes on whoever is available without hesitation. Crawford now appears more daring and willing to take risks, unlike Mayweather, who matched fights cautiously. Kellerman noted that this difference doesn't diminish Floyd's greatness, but it does show Crawford's determination to challenge himself across weight classes and against tough opponents.
Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time. That makes a difference to people.
Clearly that he believes he could beat Floyd Mayweather in his prime. He wasn't being disrespectful. He was expressing confidence in his own skills. Crawford respects Mayweather's abilities but believes his own adaptability, strength, and ability to switch stances would give him the edge. He doesn't want to diminish Floyd's accomplishments, but rather celebrates the competitive spirit that makes boxing exciting.
Who do you think wins in a fight, you or Prime Floyd?
Me.
No questions?
Why would you think that I would say Floyd? You know, that's one of my favorite fighters. But nah.
Jeff Mayweather, Floyd's uncle, told fans that Floyd was already past his peak when he fought Canelo. He was older, slower, and not as sharp as the version that dominated multiple weight classes. Even so, Floyd still beat Canelo thanks to his skill and speed. Jeff feels this is often overlooked when people compare Floyd's win to Crawford's win over Canelo. His point is that context matters. Floyd was losing some of his edge, while Crawford was still at his peak, making direct comparisons difficult.
Well, also if we remember, Canelo that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. And then the other two judges scored it for Floyd, of course.
Yeah, nobody had it.
And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he still took him, into deep waters. So
what was Canelo? What, 20 something? 20 what? 23, 25?
Yeah, he was. Very, very young in the game, obviously.
Very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah, but
man, that was 30-something years old, 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people. But
how you at the top of your career in your prime? You in your prime? You ain't in your prime when you're at 36. That's not your prime.
Did he lose? I mean,
your prime is in your 20s.
It's different for different people.
Yeah, okay. Well, it sure and that's why Canelo is saying what he's saying.
Want to
make himself look like he did something great.
According to Stephen A. Smith, Crawford's win over Canelo was one of the most exciting fights in recent memory. He praised Crawford for defeating a much bigger opponent, even though many thought he was smaller and weaker. Stephen A. said the fight highlighted not only Crawford's talent, but also his ability to entertain the crowd. He added that boxers like Crawford are important because they bring skill and excitement to every fight, making each matchup special.
70,482 people showed up for this fight. But the biggest props of the night goes to Terence Crawford, who did not disappoint. He was supposed to be the smaller man. He was supposed to be the weaker man. He was supposed to be the man that was going to spend the entire night on his bicycle, running for his damn life because Saul Canelo Alvarez was coming his way. That is not what happened. What happened instead, ladies and gentlemen, was a masterclass in boxing by Terence Crawford. Now, to me, the fight, some people were saying it was just severely lopsided and stuff like that. I'm not going for that. I'm not feeling that at all. It wasn't like that at all, okay? I had the fight 5-4 in favor of Terence Crawford after 9 rounds. It could have gone either way. And then he basically put on a boxing clinic over the last 3 rounds of the fight. And one rounds 10, 11, and 12. He used his jab. He kept his distance. He exchanged when necessary, which is something that I was scared to death of him doing. But he wasn't scared at all. Okay?
Another boxing fan said that Floyd Mayweather has the largest fan base worldwide because he never lost a fight and draws huge pay-per-view numbers. However, the fan believes Terence Crawford, who is naturally a southpaw and can switch stances easily, might be even more talented. Crawford's style is unusual and sometimes hard to read, but he controls fights in a way that reminds the fan of Mayweather, while adding his own twist with precise timing, accuracy, and calm composure in the ring.
Terence Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather Jr. Who wins this fight? I'm going with Terence Crawford, and I don't think that's unpopular or crazy to say. I think most people will agree with me. I understand Floyd Mayweather has a lot of fans out there, but the truth is, as great as Floyd Mayweather is, Terence Crawford is one of one. And I say that because who else has knockout power in both hands, is able to switch stances between orthodox and southpaw so seamlessly while having great footwork? It's not like Terence Crawford is some stationary target or a flat-footed fighter that's going to be chasing Floyd around. Terence Crawford knows how to cut the ring off. He has tremendous ring IQ. And not only is he a great boxer, but he's a great fighter. He'll be able to make it dirty. If he is on the inside with Floyd, that power will carry him far. And I just don't see how Floyd will be able to beat a Terence Crawford. I really don't see it. I understand Floyd's defense is incredible, but he is smaller than Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford would have a significant reach advantage on Floyd Mayweather. I believe Terence Crawford would also be taller than Floyd Mayweather, as well as all the skillful and technical aspects of what I just laid out prior. So I don't understand how anybody could pick Floyd Mayweather to beat Terence Crawford. Styles make fights, and I believe Terence has the style to beat one Floyd Mayweather. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Whether you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. Join the discussion, subscribe for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all...
People in the boxing world don't agree with the constant comparisons between Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford. They argue that Mayweather dominance was unique and can't be repeated. No matter how well Crawford performs, they see Mayweather as the best because of his defense, ring intelligence, and precise control of fights, qualities no one else can match. Some believe Crawford's rise is more hype than reality, with fans wanting him to fill Mayweather's shoes. While Crawford and Mayweather have very different styles and career paths, Mayweather relied on defense and smart business choices, whereas Crawford prefers switching stances, being aggressive, and taking risks. Experts say the comparisons ignore these differences and are mostly for fan excitement, making the similarities seem bigger than they really are.
You guys say it with me. Terence Crawford isn't Mayweather. I need you guys sit here, grab somebody close to you, hold their hand, sit down, say it with me. Terence Crawford is not Floyd Mayweather. They're just both black. That's the only similarities they have. They both black. Terence Crawford loves being hit. The guy likes to scrap. He likes to brawl. Terence Crawford isn't even an Alexander Usyk. This guy loves being hit. He gets a thrill out of it. He sticks his tongue at his opponents when he is hit. Look at that. He enjoys that stuff. He tends to fight with low hands at times. He tends to exchange and brawl in the pocket, plant and fire, despite him having really great feet. Sometimes he likes to sit there and fire. You have Terence Crawford beating Canelo, that's fine. I get you. But don't bring up Floyd Mayweather. No similarities. Floyd was way quicker, way sharper, better defensively, better reflexes, better timing, better IQ, better damn near everything. So say it with me one more time before we go. Terence Crawford, we said it, is not Floyd Mayweather. There we go.
Before Crawford, no boxer had ever been the undisputed champion in 3 different weight classes. This achievement made him stand out, showing both his versatility and strength across multiple divisions. Floyd Mayweather never fully unified titles at welterweight or super welterweight. Crawford, however, has more championships than any other fighter. This accomplishment secures his place in history and sets him apart from Mayweather.
Terence Bud Crawford defeats Canelo Alvarez and becomes the first ever male 3-division undisputed champion in boxing history. Thank God the judges got this one right. But wow, what a technical battle this was. It was a very close fight, but as it went on, Terence was getting more and more comfortable in there. I remember in the 7th round, he even stood right in front of Canelo and fought him on the inside. Then in rounds 9 through 12, Crawford really started to open up on his flurries, gaining Canelo's respect. But the reason Crawford won this fight was because he was surprisingly durable at 168. He was able to do his thing because for the 36 minutes he was in there with Canelo, he was never really worried about what was coming back at him. I mean, Canelo just kept going to Terence's right side of his body, and that stung a couple times, but those were the really only hard shots Canelo landed. Unfortunately, this is terrible for Canelo's legacy because the smaller men beat him up, and Canelo's kind of been cherry-picking his opponents the last couple years. But well-deserved for Terence Crawford. It's going to look amazing on his legacy. Boxing got it right tonight. On the biggest stage, with the most eyeballs, no controversy, just pure sport. And one of the best ever at the sport got it done tonight, Terence Bud Crawford.
Crawford talked about how seriously he trained for the fight after beating Canelo. He said his entire camp focused on getting stronger and fitter to handle moving up to 168 pounds. Crawford made it clear that his win came from careful planning, hard work, and confidence in his own abilities. His comments show that he is dedicated to using every fight to advance his career, proving that this era belongs to him.
He was saying, the people that ran with that narrative convinced me that that was a narrative because I don't know the world as much. The thought of not having to lose weight is probably was it how was camp? Good camp.
It was great. You know, it wasn't a camp that we was focused on weight, you know, so we could just focus on my craft and focus on, you know, getting stronger, which we was already strong, you know, but, you know, we don't know what we up against. So, you know, we definitely want to make sure our body is prepared for whatever onslaught Canelo brings. So, of course, you know, we're going to, you know, cross our I's and dot our T's. And, you know, that's what we did in training.
You looked unbelievable. You looked absolutely unbelievable. Not that you ever don't, but it's just like, God, this guy looks like he is very prepared. And then as the fight continued, it felt that way. Turkey Al-Sheikh deemed you the fighter of the century. And obviously Ring Magazine and TKO come together to put this incredible event together. What has it been like, you know, with the modern world of boxing now that Riyadh season has gotten involved? And obviously Dana and Nick Khan of the WWE. And it feels like anything is possible in the boxing world now. Is that the big takeaway that we should think after you and Canelo fight and have the success, or how do you kind of view it all?
Yeah, for sure. You know, anything is definitely possible. You know, when a lot of people kept saying that what I was trying to accomplish.
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned.